Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita. Whoop a blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme. Say I run a game like a cheater.
So ordinarily it is the bane of my freaking existence with some things that this show airs at different times in different places. Like, the show happens in the morning on the West Coast, and then it gets aired late night in Houston. It gets aired in the evening in Orlando. And sometimes we talk about things at the front of the show, and by the time, like, hey, what's the big question of the day? Well, okay, give you an example. Give you a for instance. A couple weeks ago is, will Paul Ryan throw his hat into the presidential race? And he was going to make a big announcement. And everyone was convinced it was happening. He was having all these secret meetings, and he said, no, no, no. And everyone was like, yes, 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 we want you to run. Or at least, establishment Republicans were like, yes, 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 we need you to run. Ted Cruz is a Bible-thumping guy that appeals to the libertarian crowd, and Donald Trump is Donald Trump. So we need someone that's sort of like moderately positioned like Kasich, but who people can really get behind. Please, 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 Paul Ryan, run. And so there's been all this chitty chat about whether or not that was going to be a thing. And wake up one morning, Paul Ryan to make announcement today. We go on the air like, well, this will be it. Will he be announcing his candidacy for president? And about 20 minutes after we go off the air, he's like, no, just to clear things up, no. So the show airs a little later on in other markets where people hear us speculate about something that's already been confirmed. But in this particular instance, I think we can use the time delay that we have going on in certain places to our example. Like if you are listening in Orlando, Florida on Real Radio 104.1, this is going to be the thing. This will be the guess.
Are we traveling through time?
We are traveling through time. This will be the guess that we are making about an announcement that Ted Cruz plans to make in Indiana at 4 o'clock today. 4 o'clock will have come and gone by the time you hear this, but okay. My guess is that this major announcement that he's going to be making has to do with his potential vice presidential candidate should he secure the Republican nomination. That's my guess. This is what this announcement is going to have to do with. Now, I have a guess as to who that potential vice presidential candidate would be as well. Do I get it right or do I get it wrong? I'll reveal my guess to you a little later on in the show, and you can you can get back to me and let me know. You were wrong, or you were right. How about that? You're the freaking political oracle. So, my guess is, I'm saying right here, right now, Ted Cruz is going to make an announcement with regard to who his potential vice presidential candidate would be if he secures the nomination. Who do I think that person is going to be? We'll get into that a little later on in the show. You see what I did there, Funkhauser?
Whoa, man.
I know. It's like it's a mixture of time travel and radio artistry. I'm exploiting the concept of time spent listening even when they re-air my show and it's not live. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's some radio
Take
ninja
that, time.
stuff. Or either that or it's pointlessly confusing and we've alienated a large chunk of the audience. Either or, I'm not sure. But we shall wait and see how this all plays out. It'll be an interesting one for sure. Hey, so I'm still looking for my dog Homer. And I'm not going to talk about it too much on the air just because, when I do, I cry and it's a big mess. But I'm still looking for my dog Homer. And while I haven't found him, and while I continue to look, the outpouring of support from I know I feel the way I do about dogs, but I know not everybody does. But the outpouring of support from friends, from loved ones, from family, and from complete strangers has been one of the most overwhelming things I have ever experienced. Ever. And I can't thank you enough if you're one of the many people that are like, is this him? This dog kind of looks like him and was lost and I found him online. What do you think? Or if you're one of the many people that has been going to where he's missing in Houston, Texas, right around the Derry Ashford, Briar Forest area, and picking up flyers and going and helping plastering the town. The outpouring of love is unlike anything I've ever experienced. I want to thank you for that. And I'm reminded of what Lao Tzu said. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, and it has given me strength. While loving someone deeply gives you courage. And I want to thank you so much for giving me both of those things. Thank you.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace in that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, yo, there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya, company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over, yeah. I do what I want.
So it's kind of crept up on us surreptitiously over the last decade and a half, I think. The amount that Americans are working is insane. It's crazy. And look, in so many industries that I know, people doing the job that you're doing right now might have been making more 10 years ago, 15 years ago. In radio, definitely people were making more 20 years ago than they are at the moment. And people are being asked to do more when they go into the workplace. People are being asked to do the work of 3 and getting paid 3/4 of what one person would have made 10, 15 years ago in many, many industries. It's kind of crept up on us. And look, you'll never find a more staunch advocate of hard work than me. I believe you want to get somewhere in life, you roll up your sleeves, you work hard. You work harder than the person working next to you, and that is how you get ahead in the world. And it's kind of a bullheaded way to go through things, but I just can't ever fault hard work. I can't ever fault determination. I can't ever fault blood, sweat, and tears and the willingness to put in more than others. I think that will always lead to something good. But what's interesting is, well, apparently we're working way too much, and it's not just because of the shape of the economy. It's not just because of the fact that we're expected to do the work of 3 people while getting paid less than one person made 10 years ago. Apparently science has proven that we should only be working 3 days a week. How does that sound? 3 days a week. Would you be cool with that? I've always let hard work define me. I've always let hard work be the thing from which I draw any sense of self-worth that I've got. But at this stage in the game, I could go for a 3-day work week, and apparently it's the smartest move. Is it going to happen? Highly doubtful. But why should we only be working 3 days a week? We'll get into that a little later on in the show. Right now, though, let's check in with super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser.
Oh,
and
okay, then. You want
find
that
out
then?
how you are. Oh, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Here we go.
Yep.
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser.
Oh, I know you missed that.
I did. I really did. I like the one where he says your name multiple times.
You do? Me too.
How do you-
I just don't like
yeah,
using it a lot because
Seems self-aggrandizing?
It's special.
Well, yeah, you don't want to take away from its specialness. I was going to say, do you have a day where you're feeling exceptionally super and your super producing abilities that you use that one where he says your name multiple times?
Yeah, I think when you hear that, that's when I'm having like a stellar day here behind
That's when the
controls.
That's when the coffee really kicked in and everything is firing on all cylinders and you're ready to super produce the living bejesus out of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've talked about it now. I think we should. I think this should become a thing on the show. I think
what?
this should become a thing on the show. Well, people should know when you're feeling saucy, my good man. Do you have the audio where he says your name multiple times?
Yeah, I could play that.
Okay, so
sure.
like you just heard the Common or Garden Everyday intro to Super Producer to the Stars, Barry Funkhauser reading the news. But this is the one that we're going to use when he feels, like I said, saucy, my good man.
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, Super Producer to the Stars, Barry Funkhauser.
What?
Barry Funkhauser.
Yeah.
Who?
Barry Funkhauser.
I'm here.
Barry Funkhauser.
Yeah.
So when Funkhauser's having a good day, that's the one that you're going to hear. So just listen out for that, and you can gauge Funkhauser's mood, the state of his life that day. There. That'll be our...
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I repeat things a lot when I'm having a good day.
Speaking of good days, how's it going? Where you were off doing super important radio things yesterday? Where were you hanging out with? Basically, it's safe to say that whenever Funkhauser's eye is not on the ball on this show, what he's doing is something for Nikki Sixx.
Yeah. 6 a.m.'s doing a tour. They're coming to your town. And I had to push all the buttons for them yesterday morning because they got up early and the coffee worked for them. Mm-hmm. Not so much for me. But, yeah. So I'm sorry I wasn't here.
That's okay. We had fun with Dave Hines, but we are always glad
Sir
to
Dave.
have you back. Sir Dave Hines. Besides, like Dave Hines has that intimidatingly deep voice. I feel like I just spend the entire show going, I'm not a real man. That's a real man.
He carries around an axe with him everywhere he goes.
Yeah, he's a lumberjack and he's okay. Oh, God. All right, well,
You
glad
don't
to have
believe me?
you back.
Google him.
Glad to have you back.
Thanks to be
What's going on in the world?
Chris Martin sang a cover of Prince's Raspberry Beret.
Yeah, Chris Martin from Coldplay did a cover of Prince's Raspberry Beret, which was perfect for people who like Prince's original but always wished it was boring. I don't know what it is about that guy. Like, I like him. I really like some Coldplay songs. I really do. But something...
You do?
Like...
Now I'm sad.
It was a Super Bowl experience. It was like watching him try and get down and funky, standing between Beyonce and Bruno Mars, where he's like trying to dance like they are, and it's just a more obvious version of one of these things is not like the other. Has never been broadcast on television.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radioland. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey, I do it my way.
So,
taking advantage of the gift we got.
There's going to be a big Ted Cruz announcement at 4 p.m. today in Indiana. I have a guess as to what it might be about, and by the time this show airs in Orlando, Florida, the announcement already will have been made. Now, I think it's going to have to do with who his potential vice presidential candidate is going to be, provided he secures the Republican nomination. I have a guess as to who that person is. Will I get it right? Will I get it wrong? Well, I'll break off my guess, which will have been confirmed or denied by the time the show airs in places like Orlando and Houston. Soup-related?
Yeah.
Soup-related.
Yeah, like he's eating more than soup now. He wants to have a press conference about that. That's my guess.
So hold on. Wait. Was Ted Cruz just eating soup?
Yeah, a long time ago, I guess, news came out that he only eats soup. Right when he got married to his wife, his wife almost divorced him because the first thing he did when he came back home was buy 100 cans of Campbell's soup.
Ugh.
She's like, I can cook, actually. He's like, but I really like soup.
I mean, I like soup too, but when did this happen? Because I
don't know. Let's Google Ted Cruz Campbell's soup.
That's very Elvis Presley of him, which actually could help win him some votes.
Yeah, I hope it's related. Here, I'll send you the story so you can check it out. Story coming.
I don't know, man. Like Campbell's soup, that's one of those things that you like as a kid, and as your palate and your taste buds become more refined, you go, oh, the salt content in this is unconscionably high. It's just off the Richter scale. Like I feel like a deer going up to a salt lick when I have a spoonful of that stuff. It's really bad. And I like soup as much as the next guy, and a can of soup is great, but it's so loaded with sodium. Apparently, this is a trick. I've tried it once, and I don't know if I tasted a difference, but if you put a potato in the thing of soup as you cook it, it extracts a lot of the sodium from it. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Yeah.
A potato takes away salt?
If you cook soup with a potato in the soup, the potato will absorb a lot of the sodium.
I'm totally going to try that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, look, delicious tomato soup. It's fantastic. Delicious cream o' chicken soup. It's just what you want on a rainy day. But you also don't want to have your fingers swell the moment you sip the first spoonful. Like, it's crazy. My dad had a heart thing, and he lived with me while he got treatment for his heart thing. And part of what we had to do, and he's in good health now, but part of what we had to do was we had to purge the house of salt. Like, you can't have it in certain situations. And when we did purge the house of salt, like, the change that takes place with your taste buds and your palate when you stop eating salty things for a little while is crazy, to the point where now, if you eat something that's high sodium, like I never put salt on any food pretty much ever. I used to put salt on everything. Occasionally, like a steak, just a little bit of salt and pepper just to kind of set things off. A small amount of salt that does what that salt is supposed to do, which is enhance the flavor, not drown it in saltiness. But
people are eating dinner right now in Orlando going, yeah, this is a little salty.
This is a little salty. Yeah, it's true. But the thing is, like, when you purge your system of it for a little while, you go to eat like a fast food burger of some description, and you're just like, my innards feel like they're caving in on themselves. Like, it's just cut it out of your diet for like 2 weeks, and the change you will notice, it will be fantastic. On the one hand, it's great because you don't have nearly as much sodium and it's good for you. On the other hand, you get to a point where a bowl of ramen noodles will kick your ass, give you a headache, and make you need to lie down. So there you go. Anyways, what else is going on in the world, Funkhauser? Let's get back to the news.
Sources say there was tension between Kelly and Michael on Live with Kelly and Michael yesterday. Did you see that clip?
No. What was it like?
Ooh. I could play you it was like a minute and a half of standing ovation. She came back and did a, talk straight into the camera thing and said some really, I don't know, ex-girlfriendy type stuff.
Can you dig that up?
I can. I would play it in full. I would play it's like a 4-minute monologue that she did.
Find it during a break.
Okay.
And find it during a break, and I'll look around and see if I can find a highlights reel or something. But yeah, it's interesting.
So
like,
good.
it's such. I can't believe the public is so swept up in this. I really can't, because like when it first started happening, I was like, I'm not going to talk about this on the radio. Nobody cares. These are people that make like untold millions of dollars every single day. It's not relatable to anyone. It's a big thing to people in the world of broadcasting, but I'm not going to. And people are obsessed with it. It's crazy. That show must be getting the greatest ratings it's ever gotten right before the bitter end. Like, it's nuts. But yeah.
You think it's a bubble? You think that's the end?
Well, I mean, that version of it is going to be over and done with. Isn't Regis still floating around going like, hey, I'm still available?
Why isn't anybody calling me?
Yeah. But Regis, this is going to sound terrible. Regis is still alive, right?
Yeah. He's on
and he's still doing stuff. I feel like I see him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's like on the Today Show or something, I think. He bounces back and forth between networks now because he can. Yeah,
he has freedom. I wonder if he's going to try and get his old gig back. I mean, people would be, that's television people would watch. Like, Reach comes out and be like, Did you miss me? Kelman, did they miss me? You know, like, I mean, that's a thing that people would tune in to see. Like, I've never watched live before, ever. I've seen it on in the background when I've been places, but I've never sat down and like, ooh, I'm going to watch Kelly and Michael on live, or I'm going to watch Regis and Kelly on live. That's never been a thing, but I would tune the hell in. So I have to imagine their ratings have been higher than they ever have before, ever. It's crazy. But, yeah.
Kelly,
apparently a lot of...
Kathy Lee is turning over in her grave. Oh, wait. No, she's still alive, sort of.
Yeah, she's still drunk with Hoda on the air.
At least as of this broadcast.
Right.
Knock on wood.
But yeah, apparently there was all sorts of tension between Kelly and Michael on live yesterday. Nowhere near the usual tension, like the sexual tension between Matt Lauer and Al Roker on Today, but nevertheless, tension. It was there. Go on.
A New York man got sucker punched just because he looked like Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, God.
Wasn't me.
You know?
Should have been.
A lot of people think that if they were the judge in this case, they would allow it. Something about Shia. That it's a punch me face. It really is. I've never punched anyone based on their punch me face, but I look, I would never condone it. I would certainly never do it, but I understand how Mr. Hand turns into Mr. Fist in that situation.
He's probably a nice guy, but I can't tell.
Is he though? Is he? I don't get the impression that he is. I don't know. Like, it's, you know what's really strange? What's really strange is, like, as I get older, if I get the vibe that someone is not a nice person, I just don't want to deal with them. You know, like, the first place I started to notice it was in females. Like, they could be so banging hot. They could be so incredibly easy on the eyes. They could be the type of person that I would be willing to follow around for lifetimes, drinking their bathwater, spreading rose petals before them, and doing their every bidding just to be in their presence at all whatsoever. They could have been that hot, and 5 years ago, I would have been all into it. 10 years ago, I would have been all into it. But now, if I get even a whiff of them being not nice, I can't find myself attracted to a female. If I don't think they're nice, it's not going to work for me south of the equator. And I think that has something to do with getting older and maybe like looking at women differently. Like, hey, there's a potential mother for my child if I ever have one or something. It's just like a biological imperative that happens on a subconscious level that just, if someone's not nice. It started with females. Like, if a female wasn't nice, there's no way I could be physically attracted to her. It's really interesting. And then same thing with, like, people. Like, I used to have tons of friends where I'm like, that guy is such an ass, but I love him. That guy's, he's a terrible person, but that's my guy. Oh, he's just ridiculous, and he's irresponsible, and he makes poor decisions, and they affect everyone around him, and he has no care in the world about it. But that's my boy, and I don't feel that way anymore. Like, if someone's just not nice, if they're not considerate, if they're not a decent human being, I just got no interest in spending any of my life with them. Is that like a getting older thing, Funkhauser?
I think so. I mean, you really want to test. Watch, like, The Bachelorette. Or no, watch The Bachelor. And then question all women. There's 27 women, and I don't like any of them.
I just don't think that, you know, the type of person that would do that with their life, the type of person that would go on a reality show where they could potentially get married is just not the type of, oh, wait, Funkhauser, you did that. Sorry. My bad.
Hey,
no,
they contacted me again, too. I got an email saying, hey,
oh,
you
yeah?
want to be on season 3?
Well, I enjoyed your star turn on, what was the name of that show?
Married by Mom and Dad.
Married by Mom. I enjoyed your star turn on Married by Mom and Dad. I did not enjoy it as much as when you were pranked by Jay Leno and David Spade. That's my of all your television appearances, and there have been numerous ones. That one remains my favorite because, you know, do you get how similar you are in terms of your voice and stuff to David Spade?
I think I know what you're talking about, really. But, he hates everything, especially Coachella, so...
Well, yeah, but, like, just your sort of, like, laid-back mannerism and your voice and your overall demeanor. Like, to me, like... When I first started working with Funkhauser, people were like, what's it like? I was like, it's kind of like working with David Spade, I would imagine, except nicer. You know, like... and that was like that. And now I've gotten to know you better, and I just think of you as Funkhauser. It's sort of a definitive thing. Funkhauser. Barry Funkhauser. But when I first met you, there was you had more in common there are more similarities and differences between you and David Spade to the from the outside looking in. So seeing you with David Spade on camera
really
is
weird,
kind of cool. Yeah, definitely.
Programming note: I'm going to be on a game show soon.
Oh, which one?
Idiot Test on Game Show Network. TiVo it now, DVR it now, so when it comes out, they won't give me any notice as to when it airs, so just check.
Is this the one where if you win $10,000?
$1,000.
Which you have to split with Canadian Jane, and then the tax man will take a piece, so you will win $1,463, which would still be pretty cool. That's the one, right?
That could happen.
Good. I hope you win. Oh, go on. What else is happening in the world?
Let's see. Ace Frehley from Kiss. He had a birthday, turned 65.
Right. These days, he doesn't hear Beth calling unless he's got both hearing aids in. That's all I got about that.
Driving a Kiss golf cart around a Kiss mini golf course, drinking a Kiss thermos. Playing.
I wonder if he gets participation on that stuff. I wonder.
Oh, he has to. They're good businessmen like that.
Well, I mean, I think Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley are good businessmen, and they might have been good businessmen to the point where they cut folks like Ace Frehley out of merchandising rights. Like if a kid drinks out of a Kiss thermos, Gene Simmons is getting paid, but is Ace Frehley all these years later? I don't know. What else?
J.J. Abrams says his next movie will be a romantic thriller.
Of course, he has to wait for George Lucas to write it so he can rip it off, but that's the general gist of it.
I already fell asleep. Kevin Costner says MMA should be added to the Olympics.
Oh, does he? Kevin Costner?
If you
Bull
add
Durham
it, they will come.
guy? Right, yeah. Oh, gosh. Says Kevin Costner has weighed in on the world of mixed martial arts, saying that it should be added to the Olympics. And even though it doesn't seem like Kevin Costner is qualified to talk about how sports are selected for the Olympics, I'm just happy to see him occupy himself with something other than a sequel to Waterworld, so I'm okay with that. Has he made a good movie recently?
I would see a sequel to Waterworld. That was made me want to go to the beach.
What has he made a good movie in the last decade? Like, because he had, all right, like Bull Durham's an amazing movie. Field of Dreams. He had a thing with baseball movies for a second there. What are the other good, like People Like Dances with Wolves?
It has been quite some time since I could.
The Bodyguard.
All right then. With Whitney.
You know Kevin Costner? Do you know Kevin Costner picked? I think he picked that song, I Will Always Love You, for Whitney Houston. They were looking for a song for a movie, and he's like, I got it. And Whitney Houston told this story of like, what do you know about music, Kevin Costner, you silly little white boy? And then he played her the song. She's like, I know this song, I love it. And you're right, you're absolutely right. So Kevin Costner, more to him than you think, I guess. So yeah, apparently MMA should be added to the Olympics based on that.
Jamming on the one like Theo and Stevie. I know it sounds
Now, more AD on the radio.
back once again. The ill behavior, delivering and giving you my musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
Why is a 3-day work week better for you? Besides the fact that you get a 4-day weekend? Could actually be better for the company that you work for as well. Why? We'll get into all of that and my prediction on the Ted Cruz announcement that's happening today a little later on. Right now, though, let's roll through what remains of the news. Funkhauser.
Ted Cruz and John Kasich are joining forces to stop Donald Trump.
So counting all their supporters, that's 2 people against Trump. Good. The name of their alliance, the Axis of Irrelevance. Oh, gosh. Well, at least for case. I don't know. Like, do you think Ted Cruz is still in it? Really?
I don't know, man. Probably not. I mean, how do you
Yeah.
how do you slay the dragon? He's out there just burning them down.
It's just, yeah.
This guy's drinking soup.
Oh, gosh. I wonder, the Ted Cruz lookalike porno flick that's being made.
Oh, please.
With the female that looks a lot like Ted Cruz.
On. I don't want to think
they
about
say
that.
No press is bad. Yeah. Hey, look, now you can skip lunch and be thin. I wonder, it's negative press, obviously, when something like that happens. But I wonder if in this case, any press is good press, when you're just trying to keep your name top of people's minds. I wonder how that all works out. Because it's not like he did anything awful. He just looked a certain way that happened to be a lot like this female looked. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm so divorced from the whole political process in this country at the moment. I just do not. I don't care for any of our options. I'm
still going through a heated divorce. What about it?
What's interesting now is that people are saying that people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves to potentially vote for Donald Trump should he secure a nomination, because a lot of Democrats are like, well, we all know he's a Democrat. He was a Democrat until about a second and a half before he announced his stab at being president. So that being the case, we don't like Hillary, and he really truly is a Democrat, so we're going to cross political fences to vote for him. And so you have these candidates that pull from either side of the fence, and it's a very strange... I don't know. Is this the weirdest race? Is this the weirdest presidential race?
It is in our lifetime.
Modern history. It is in our lifetime for sure. It is since we started paying attention. I love this. It's a laugh riot in my home over the weekends. I love watching documentaries about past elections. This is what happened when Reagan was elected in 80. This is what was going on in 1968. This is when the whole news cycle changed and became entertainment, when Buckley and Vidal went after each other at that critical time, and all of a sudden the news stopped being information and it became hearsay and rhetoric and posturing. And that occupies the vast majority of my time during the weekend. Like I said, I'm a party.
Well, I had to do a search because, our flagship America's Talk here on iHeartRadio has a lot of time to play Phil stuff, and I needed to find old political advertising. So I went all the way back to Ike.
Oh, no kidding.
If you listen to America's Talk, you'll hear the old political advertising.
Oh, can we play some of that on this show, if you can dig it up?
Yeah, I'll pull that up.
That'd be super cool.
Next break, I'll start with that.
All right, cool. What else?
This one bothers me a lot. Millennials now outnumber baby boomers.
Yeah, millennials now outnumber baby boomers. All right, clear this up for me. Baby boomers, which generation is that?
40s. Born in the 30s and 40s and 50s, I think.
Yeah,
after the war.
Right, gotcha.
I guess.
Post-World War II babies, right?
Yeah. Everybody just started doing it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So millennials now outnumber baby boomers. When reached for comment, I believe the millennials stared at their iPhones, then resumed complaining that it had been almost 15 whole minutes since anyone gave them a trophy.
Too many millennials. I was waiting for the housing crash in 25 years. Everything's going to get cheaper. So all the baby boomers are dying off. Now there's too many millennials. I'm never going to own a home.
Well, you never know. Because you know what millennials don't seem to be doing the way baby boomers did?
What?
Breeding.
Yeah.
I people are waiting longer and longer to have kids. There's still sort of folks that like to pop out 6 or 7 of them by the time they're 22. But, I think overall, most of the people I know, and I don't have hard figures to back this up, so maybe I'm completely wrong, but most of the people I know are holding off on having kids. I find that my friends fall into one of two categories. They had a kid young, and they've kind of been rolling with it ever since. Or they are, beating the crap out of their, beating the crap out of their 20s or their 30s, and they're like, oh, I'm not nearly ready enough to have a kid. My nest egg isn't nearly substantial enough to feel like it'd be a responsible decision to bring a child into this world. So, I think people either have them young or they're waiting, and it gets to the point where it gets more difficult to have kids, and then you eventually just give up because you get a promotion. It's the whole concept upon which Idiocracy is based, and I think it's absolutely...
That sounds like the J.J. Abrams romantic thriller comedy script, what you just
See? Yeah, there you go. All right, what else?
Lena Dunham is the latest celebrity to promise to move to Canada if Donald Trump gets president?
See, everybody promises I'm moving to Canada if this person is elected, and they never do. They never do. I've heard lots every 4 years or so on either side of the political fence. People go, if your candidate's elected, I'm moving to Canada. Oh, if your candidate's elected, I'm moving to Canada. And maybe people can't bring themselves to make Heavens to Gretzky their go-to exclamation of surprise. But, like, no one's actually moved to Canada. So I'd be curious to see what happens. If Trump does get... We should keep a running tally of the people that say they're moving to Canada if Trump gets elected and see how many of them actually make their way to the great white frozen tundra. But yeah, Lena Dunham, the chick from Girls, promised to move to Canada if Trump is elected, which is weird because I think the announcement garnered Trump about 3.5 million new voters. Go on.
Donald Trump says Tom Brady shouldn't be suspended for Deflategate.
Yeah, it was sneaky how that all happened. You know, like Tom Brady's suspension takes place the next season, allowing him to do playoff games and win the Super Bowl. Yeah, go figure. But Donald Trump says he shouldn't be suspended. Now that he's suddenly sympathetic to someone who blatantly destroyed evidence to save their butt, is there anything he'd like to add about Hillary?
Something happening here, and you should know what it is.
The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So, this is where the super part of Super Producer to the Stars gets added to Super Producer to the Stars, Barry Funkhauser's title. You went back through the archives and, in an incredibly topical way, dug up some old political ads from candidates in days gone by. Do you have one of Reagan?
Yeah, I was going to play the It's Morning Again in America, but that doesn't really count because it's like after he's going for second term.
Well, I was going to say, is this first term or second term, Reagan?
I think this one's first term that I'm going to play for you.
All right, let's have a listen.
This place has a way of making us think about the kind of future our young people will have. Everything we do here, we weigh on tomorrow's scales. Keeping our economy strong and free from the terrible inflation of a few years ago will bring stability into the lives of those just beginning their families. Keeping taxes down and big government under control encourage creativity and economic freedom. These will expand new employment opportunities, so important to those just leaving school for their first jobs. And keeping America strong and always searching for peace, well, nothing is more important than that. This magnificent house is 192 years old now. It stands watch on our stewardship, a guardian for future generations. What we do here may be important, but what we leave behind is even more important. I take no obligation more seriously.
President Reagan, leadership, that's...
They all sound like that, too. They're all sappy.
Well, it's designed to tug on your emotional heartstrings. I have to admit, that reached me. These are the things that I want. I want lower taxes. I want a shot for kids just making their way in the world. or immature adults that haven't quite gotten there yet, like me. That's what I want. Anyways, thank you. We should continue to play more of those that you've dug up. Tomorrow
as we should play "It's Morning Again" in America.
As the election gets ever closer, we should continue to do that. A couple more pieces of news, and then we'll talk about why a 3-day workday might be the move.
The entire police force of a rural Colorado town quit.
The entire police force.
All of them.
Quit. All of them. Do we know why?
I don't.
Don't worry. I'll get them back, responded a donut.
It is Colorado, so,
Yeah, it was in Green Mountain Falls, Colorado.
Oh, come on.
Without giving any reason whatsoever, the entire Green Mountain Police Department in Colorado has quit. The chief of police announced his resignation on Tuesday. He was quickly followed by all the other officers. It's been 4 days now. Remarkably, the town of Green Mountain Falls does not look like a scene out of Mad Max. In an election year, there's always some people who choose to stay and some people who choose to go, and I think that happens at every level of government. This is according to the mayor, Jane Newberry. And despite giving no reason, it's likely that the department disagreed with the local politics and reacted by abandoning their duty as public servants, thereby illustrating the irrelevance of their job in the first place. This is from some website called the Free Thought Project. I don't know. I mean, I admire people with principles, but when you sign up to be something like, if you sign up to be a first responder and you're like, because of local politics, no, it's just like, come on, there's a better way to do it than that. I don't know. Maybe they've resigned and they're still walking the streets helping people do whatever you need to do in that town. I'm not sure. I got to admit as well, in this day and age where people have a problem with cops a lot of the time, I have to say, look, I don't have a problem with cops. I've never been on the wrong side of the law. I've never been, look, I'm a white male in America. I won the genetic lottery. I am in a position where I'm not going to get harassed. Even in my punk rock days, I really didn't get grief from cops. And, not that I look any different now. I still get no grief from cops. And I've always found police officers to be a symbol of trust and authority. And There's been members of the police force that have responded to just social media posts about my missing dog. It's crazy. One guy was like, hey, man, I know what a dog means to someone. The moment there's a potential sighting, you call me, and I'll get there lickety-split because I'll put the flashers on and go. Now, he says that to inspire a certain amount of confidence. If there's sort of like a robbery in progress and there's a sighting of my lost dog, I'm going to guess he's going to tend to the robbery in progress. But still, man.
Depends on the robber.
I guess, yeah. But I really kind of... the way the police force of Houston, that particular precinct, I think it's Precinct 5, where Homer went missing, has responded and just been so caring and I feel bad because, I'm walking up to cop cars handing out flyers going, it's your job to look for stuff. Could you please keep an eye out for this? And I am in tears, and like a grown man in tears over a little white dog that's missing. It's just, it's not a good look. And, they could easily think something is up with this guy. Maybe we should search him or something. I don't know. It's just not a good look, and I'm not looking my best because, as I've been out looking for him, it's been raining. It's been, hot, I'm sweaty. I'm wet. I just, spent like 3 days in the same clothes because it was like, get up, go look for him, get up, go look for him, get up, go look for him. That was all I did. And so I'm walking up to cop cars looking borderline homeless, and they have shown me nothing but love and compassion and understanding and have just taken time. It's like I understand everybody's relationship with the police force is not always going to be pristine and perfect, but I cannot say enough about the police officers that I've spoken to suspending judgment and treating me with just such a humongous level of compassion, given the death and destruction that it is their job to deal with. I was just blown away by the kindness of everyone that I've dealt with throughout this, but that includes police officers. And so much of this, while it's been just an absolutely gut-wrenching, horrible experience, one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. And I know if you're not a dog person, that might not be something that you necessarily relate to, but for me it is. For me it really is, and so on the one hand, it's one of the worst things that's ever happened to me. On the other hand, it's shown me just a tremendously beautiful side of humanity. And I thank you, and I thank humanity, and I thank the cops for that one. Yeah. All right, one more piece of news. I'm sorry, did you have some to add, Funkhauser?
No, well, I mean, cops, man, we're their best friends, because they're sitting around on the beat all day listening to radio. So,
that's true. That's true. So funny. Like, one guy that I pulled up to give a flyer to, and he was like, "Are you AD?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I recognize your voice. I know about your missing dog. Yeah, give me that flyer." It was very strange. Yeah. Very strange. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I wish we were on. I wish it happened in L.A.
Yeah.
Then I'd have 5,000 people around it. But
well, I cannot say enough. So thank you again. All right, I'm going to start crying if we don't move on. Well, more news, Funkhauser.
Experts say a high-fat diet keeps you drowsy during the day. Yeah, well.
Huh? Oh. Yeah, high-fat diet keeps you drowsy during the day. I'm trying to figure out if what I eat is high-fat. I just don't pay attention. Probably. What would you have for breakfast, Funkhauser?
Breakfast? Oh.
Yeah.
Crap, I have an English muffin in my backpack. I haven't had breakfast yet. I mean, earlier today I had an English muffin.
Oh. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know if I eat high fat. Like, occasionally I'll have like an egg sandwich for breakfast, and that's high fat, but I rarely have time for that.
They put fat in everything.
I had I've found that peanut butter, like, as my time gets more and more stretched, I find that peanut butter really is like a bit of a miracle food, because like if I don't have time to eat something, I can like put some peanut butter on an apple, and like there's protein in it, there's carbs, or just if a spoonful of peanut butter, if I don't have time to eat, if I just choke that down before heading out the door, that's the difference between me feeling like I'm sleepy half an hour into work, or me going, I could deal until lunch. It's like, it's weird. I don't know, but I don't know if it's high fat. I do know I'm tired all the time. I don't know if the two things are related. Maybe I'm tired because I'm working too freaking much. Not to say that, I don't believe in the value of hard work. That's well established. You and I talk about this all the time on this show. But if your boss is into the whole science thing, you might want to take this to them and see if you can get yourself a permanent 4-day weekend. New study out of the University of Melbourne in Australia, where they apparently like their recreation time, found that we should only be working 3 days a week. Why, I hear you ask? Well, the research found that our brains can only really function at their peak levels for about 25 hours a week. So ideally, or I guess, if you're putting in a 40-hour work week, the optimum level at which your brain ended. What's standard work week, Funkhauser?
40.
Like how many? 40? Is that it? Because 8
to 5.
8 to 5, yeah. I wonder what that's like. And look, I'm not breaking rocks. I'm not swinging a hammer. I'm not doing hard physical labor. But it's just radio, especially the type of radio that I do, where you're programming the station and stuff like that. And there's actually a lot of money on the line when it comes down to things like ratings points, and you're trying to make the station work. Like, that's a bit of a mental jigsaw puzzle, and I do find it to be mentally exhausting. And apparently they get the best of you after 25 hours. And beyond that, the quality of your work declines really, really quickly. Like, I would say 70-plus hour work week is what I pull, and that is not different than a lot of people I know in radio. But that drop-off is so bad. That if you ever try and pull a crazy 70-hour work week, your brain is basically useless by the end of it. And wow, can I relate to that? Absolutely. Just I find myself after a certain hour, not only am I angry that I'm still working, but I also find myself to be just ineffective. Like, the longer I work, the longer it takes me to get things done. It's just like it's this vicious circle where if I can finish stuff off within a 10-hour time frame or a 12-hour time frame, I'm good. Once I pass 12 hours and I get into like the 14-hour range of a workday, I'm just like, what? Who? And I really worry that I start to make mistakes, and then I'm going back and checking to make sure that I haven't made mistakes. And it's just like work that takes me an hour in my optimum work time will take me double that afterwards. So I think there's some truth to this. Researchers find that your brains can only really function at their peak levels for around 25 hours a week. And after that, the quality of your work declines really quickly. Now, there is one catch. The study only included people over the age of 40. So it's possible that younger people can hang in a little longer, but still, no matter how old you are, at some point, too much work just makes your brain shut down and makes you kind of freaking useless. Like you're there, you're a body taking up space, you're getting paid, but they're not getting the best of you for that for that sweet $15 an hour minimum wage that you're getting. All right, so we're almost all out of show. Ted Cruz is making a big announcement. Ted Cruz is making a big announcement at 4 o'clock today in Indiana. And my prediction is this. A lot of people think it has to do with the vice presidential candidate. And by the time this airs in Orlando, Florida, and in Houston, this announcement already would have been made. Let's play with the boundaries of time and space for a second. And am I right in guessing that Ted Cruz would announce that Carly Fiorina would be his running mate provided he could secure the nomination? Was I right? Was I wrong? Tweet me. Let me know. Am I a freaking oracle / political genius, or am I a giant buffoon? Is it possible to be both of those things at the same time? Well, I think there's career politicians that have proven it is. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for being a part of my radio family. If you're in Houston and able to look for Homer, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. That little guy means the entire world to me. And if you are helping, if you're one of those people already helping, I have no words to express my gratitude. Thank you is what I'll have to settle for.